I know people are saying, let's have a ceasefire, and those are noble ambitions. But any ceasefire must have the conditions in it so that Hamas does not use Gaza as a place from which to launch rockets.
Hi, I'm Carl Azus. You just heard President Bush there discussing the situation in Gaza and the possible conditions for a ceasefire in the Middle Eastern territory. But neither Israeli nor Hamas leaders seem to be thinking about an end to the fighting. The Palestinian organization's military wing has warned that rocket strikes will continue for many months. Hamas militants fired dozens of rockets into Israel yesterday from Gaza as Israeli forces continued their air and ground assault on the territory, leading to heavy fighting in Gaza City. As the current president focuses on foreign policy, the president-elect is setting his sights on the economy. President-elect Barack Obama is scheduled to give a major speech on the issue Thursday. Yesterday, he was on Capitol Hill meeting with congressional leaders like House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to discuss his plans. One official says the president-elect will propose about $300 billion in tax cuts. However, some lawmakers, both Democrats and Republicans, have raised concerns about the plan.
Time for the shout out. Which of these countries is Germany? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it A, B, C, or D? You've got 3 seconds. Go! On this map, B is Germany, a country that's a little smaller than the state of Montana. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
A group of archaeologists has uncovered evidence of an ancient battlefield in Germany that seems to indicate that a famous fight scene from an Oscar-winning movie was more fact than fiction. But more importantly, the findings, which date back more than a millennium, could lead to a rewrite on history. Frederick Pleitgen digs into the details.
Roman legions against Germanic barbarians. The opening scene of Ridley Scott's movie, Gladiator. A merciless onslaught. This is what the battlefield might have looked like. German archaeologists say that right here in this forest, they've made what could be one of the most exciting finds in recent decades. For weeks, archaeologist Petra Lenne and her team have been searching this area with metal detectors, pulling hundreds of ancient Roman weapons out of the ground.
We believe the Germans ambushed the Romans here, but the legions quickly fired back with catapults and archers, and then it came to a massive man-on-man onslaught.
The objects are so well maintained, the scientists can already retrace some of the battle lines. And they paint the picture of a highly organized, technologically superior Roman army. This is an arrowhead for a Scorpio. An awesome long-distance catapult, something like ancient artillery, says Henning Hassmann of Hanover's Archaeological Institute.
That shows us a Roman weapon high-tech with a very high speed. On a very long distance, about 300 meters, you can hit a very precise target.
And there's much more, like this combat horseshoe, spearheads, and coins like this one depicting Commodus, the evil Roman emperor played by Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator. Scientists date the ancient battlefield to about the 3rd century AD, showing the Romans maintained a massive military presence in northern Germania much longer than experts had believed.
We have to write our history books new, because what we thought is that the activities of the Romans ended at 9 or 10 after Christi. Now we know that it must be 200 or 250 after that.
And the archaeologists in the forest say they have just begun to scratch the surface.
We hope we might find fortifications, and if we are lucky, maybe even battlefield graveyards.
By the way, the scientists tell us the movie Gladiator seems to be pretty historically accurate. The wars in ancient times may indeed have looked a lot like this. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, Hanover, Germany.
A word to the wise: perseverance, to continue or move forward despite challenges or discouragement.
We are 6 days into 2009, which means that many New Year's resolutions, like that popular one to hit the gym, have already been broken. But if you are looking for sympathy for skipping your workout, you're not going to get any from Kyle Maynard. His motto is no excuses, and it's helped him persevere despite some pretty severe obstacles. Kira Phillips sat down with Maynard to discuss his accomplishments.
Kyle Maynard was actually born with a congenital amputee, yet he can lift more than 400 pounds. He played football, he was on the high school wrestling team, he even types 50 words a minute. He's written a best-selling book, it's won national awards, and is now opening his own gym called, of course, No Excuses Athletics. Kyle joins me now to give us a little New Year's inspiration. Great to have you with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so how young were you when your dad said, okay, we're going to start building your muscles, we're not going to, look at you any differently, and he started actually strapping weights to your arms, right?
He brought me in a weight room when I was in 6th grade. I was 11 years old, going in to play football, and I had ropes around my arms originally, and then ended up getting stronger and stronger. By the time I was in high school, I broke the ropes and got chains after that and got stronger. So it was actually 2.5 pounds that I used to start lifting with, and what I try to teach people is that there's always a place to start. Because I was always kind of self-conscious with people looking at me in the weight room,
right.
2.5 pounds on my arms. I didn't know what they thought about it. And then all of a sudden, like you said, being able to lift over 400 pounds by the time I was 19 years old.
Okay, interesting. You were self-conscious about a little weight, but not about your condition.
No, yeah, that's kind of, my parents, they raised me to always believe that I was normal. And, that I didn't have any type of disability. And that's my career and passion has been in motivational speaking. When I speak, I try to teach people that, really we're all disabled in some way or another. We all make excuses.
Yep.
But it's just about, our perspective and how we look at those things, and how we can overcome them that really matters,
And from what I understand, back when you were wrestling, that you were losing like every match, right? And then you thought, okay, forget this. I got to figure out a different technique. And then you started winning all your matches. Tell me what happened.
It was just a turnaround in confidence. When I was in 6th grade, I lost every match I competed in, and my goal was to not be pinned, and I wasn't, so I stuck with it. My dad convinced me to come out, mom and dad together. In 7th grade, came out, and the same thing happened again. Halfway through that season, I hadn't won a match. And it got until about halfway through that year where I finally realized it was just a fear that was built up inside me that I had to let go.
How did the kids respond to you, whether it's your classmates or kids you're speaking to now? What do they come up and ask you? What's like the most common question?
I think probably the most common question that I get from any group is just, if I had the opportunity to go and, meet God and change the way that I was made, would I? And I think the honest answer is no.
Really?
I wouldn't. I feel like I've been blessed, to be able to go impact the people that I have. After I released my book, No Excuses, there were people emailing me telling me that the story stopped them from committing suicide.
Wow.
And so now I kind of want to go and have the same impact that I have had with the gym now, that have been led to with the speaking in the past.
Why a gym?
It's really, my mission in life, what I feel like compelled to go and do is just to go and try to use my story to help others. And I feel like in this way I can go and touch people in a unique way on a daily basis. And people that come and train with me can know that I care about them and want them to succeed, and that frankly kind of comes back to if I can do it, then anybody can. And it's that type of attitude.
No hands, no feet, no excuses. An incredible story, and that motto goes for you too, because we want to read your opinions about Kyle and his accomplishments on our blog. So head to cnnstudentnews.com and share your thoughts today. No excuses. Now, before we go, just taking a little spin in my weekend car. Okay, not really. Ferraris cost more than my house. But believe it or not, sales are smoking, even as the country idles in the pit of a recession. A Tampa Bay dealership that opened just a few weeks ago is scrambling just to keep these things in the showroom floor, even with the starting line price at $100,000. What a lot of folks would call wheel expensive. We turn tomorrow with more CNN Student News. I'm Carl Lazouse.